My beloved child, let your heart grow still in this moment, for I want you to listen with the deepest part within you, not as one hears a passing sound, but as dry ground receives rain after many days of scorching sun. There are seasons when you thought there was only waiting, when every prayer seemed to vanish into a silent void, when each tear you shed appeared to fall and disappear without a trace. But I speak to you now. Not one of your sighs has been forgotten. Not one long night you endured in silence has escaped my knowing. And not one small step you took on the path of obedience has gone unnoticed by me. What you have sown in patience, in faith, in days when your hands trembled but your heart still turned toward me, I am now awakening beneath the deep soil. You have not yet seen it all, but the seed has begun to move. You have not yet heard the sound of harvest, but the field has already begun to change color beneath the light of grace. Listen, my child. A new era does not always arrive with thunder in the heavens or signs so wondrous that everyone sees them at once. Sometimes it begins with a very gentle peace in your heart, with a quiet strength that helps you rise after days when you thought you could no longer go on, with a door slightly opening where you once believed there was only a wall. I am leading you into a season in which the things you once only dared to whisper in prayer will gradually begin to take shape, not because you have become perfect, nor because you are strong enough in yourself, but because I am faithful, and what I have placed within your life will not be left unfinished halfway. You have walked through narrow paths filled with stones. There were times when you had to wipe away tears in order to keep smiling. There were moments when you looked up to the sky and asked why the road was so long. Today, I do not rebuke you for those questions. I only draw you closer and remind you that even when you do not understand, I am still arranging all things. Remember the woman of Zarephath in the day of drought, when there remained in her house only a little flour and a little oil, and it seemed as though her last meal had come. She did not see full storehouses, nor any outward sign that tomorrow was guaranteed. Yet when she dared to offer the little she had, according to the word I had spoken through my servant, that small thing became the place where a miracle began. The jar of flour was not emptied. The jug of oil did not run dry. And life was preserved in the very house where hope seemed ready to close. My child, that story is not merely an ancient memory. It is a reminder for you today. Perhaps you too once thought you had only a little strength, a little faith, a little hope, a little courage left. But in my hands, what you thought was too little can still become the beginning of abundance. I do not need you to bring me perfection. I only invite you to bring me a willing heart. The rest I will do by my power and my mercy. Therefore, do not despise the months and days when you endured in silence. Do not underestimate the prayers no one heard, the times you chose what was right even when your heart was weary, the mornings when you woke with heavy eyes and still decided to keep going. None of these things were meaningless. On earth, people often see only the fruit when it is ripened golden, but I see the roots as they quietly grip the soil beneath. People often rejoice only when the harvest arrives, but I was with you in the season of plowing, in the season of sowing, in the season of waiting, and even in the season when there seemed to be no sign at all. Believe that what I do in secret places is often more enduring than what appears hastily before the eyes of the world. I am not only preparing blessings for you, I am also preparing you to keep those blessings with humility, wisdom, and a grateful heart. Now I want you to lift your head, not with human pride, but with the faith of one who knows they are loved. You no longer have to walk as someone forgotten on the margins. You no longer have to live as though the past has the right to name your future. The things that wounded you may have left marks, but they do not have the authority to seal your destiny. I am the one who continues writing your story with the ink of grace. And the new page I open is not bound by the old pages. When you think you have reached the end of the road, I can still open a way where there is no way. When you think everything is dried up, I can still cause springs of water to flow in the wilderness. When you look at yourself and see weakness, I look at you in the light of what I am building. Beloved child, let joy return to your lips. Not a shallow joy that exists only when everything is favorable, but a deep joy born from knowing that I still hold your life. Sing, even if your voice still trembles, because the sound of faith is precious before me. Give thanks, even when you have only seen the first ray of light, because the dawn does not need to appear in fullness before it proves that the night is retreating. Stand firm where I have placed you, for there are positions you consider small that are precisely where I am preparing a great breakthrough. Do not hurry to leave the place where I have led you simply because you do not yet see immediate results. Roots need time to go deep. Dawn needs time to spread. And the harvest also needs its appointed time to ripen. I know there are moments when you are tired from having to be strong for too long. I know there are times when you long for a confirmation, a sign, a hand to lift you so you do not feel alone. Today, I place this word upon your wounds like anointing oil. I am still here. I do not stand far away watching you struggle. I am near in every breath, every step, every silence when you do not know what to say. When you are weak, I do not leave. When you are confused, I do not condemn. When you stumble, I do not close the door. I lift you with kindness, cover you with mercy, and teach you to keep walking in my gentle light. My love is not fragile like human love. It does not change with moods, nor does it run dry because of your shortcomings. Now come near to me with a sincere heart. Do not try to prepare beautiful words to hide your pain. Do not think you must first become strong before you can lean on me. Come as you are, with your weariness, with your longing, with the things you do not yet understand. And even with the small portion of faith you are still holding tightly in your hand. I do not reject a softened heart that seeks me. I do not turn away from my child who bows in humility. Lay every burden down before my presence. Your worries about tomorrow, the memories that weigh upon you, the fears you dare not name, the plans you do not yet know will come to pass. I will not let you be swept away by the rushing waters of life, for I am the firm rock beneath your feet, the shade that shelters you in the heat of the day, and the arms that hold you when the long night descends. Listen, my child. Speak to me with all your heart and say that you want to be led, to be renewed, to step into the season I have prepared. Ask me to teach you how to recognize what is good, how to wait for the right time, how to rejoice without forgetting humility, how to receive blessing while keeping your heart pure. For the new season will not only bring what you have been waiting for, it will also require you to mature in the way you live, the way you love, the way you trust, and the way you give. I will give you wisdom so you do not lose something precious through haste. I will place peace within you so you are not shaken by the noise around you. I will renew your strength so you do not merely enter the harvest season, but also know how to preserve it with clarity and discernment. My child, perhaps you are wondering why this journey has not yet come to an end. Why after days when you thought you had finally crossed one mountain, another steep slope appears before you. I know there are times when you sigh quietly, not because you have lost faith, but because you are tired from standing firm for so long. I see the moments when you ask yourself what else you must face, how much longer you must be patient, what other lessons you must learn in seasons of contrary winds. But beloved child, hear me with a peaceful heart. No trial comes to you outside my permission, and no battle you enter finds me absent. What you call a burden today can, in my hands, become a step that lifts you higher. What you see as tears, I can turn into water for the sweet fruit of tomorrow. What you think is delay, I am using to shape you into someone steadier, deeper, and more radiant. Listen, my child. Difficult days are not sent to shatter you, but to reveal what I have quietly placed within you. You once thought you were weak, yet you have passed through stronger winds than you imagined. You once thought you could not endure, yet you still rose, still prayed, still hoped, still chose what was right, even when your heart trembled many times. That was not your own strength. It was my hand sustaining you in the hidden place. There were small battles you once considered meaningless, yet they trained perseverance in you. There were wounds you thought brought only pain, yet I used them to teach you compassion. There were times when you were placed in narrow circumstances, yet it was there that I taught you how to expand your faith. When you look back, you will realize that every stage that seemed disconnected was in fact being joined together by me through a holy purpose. Remember that no one steps into a higher season without first being prepared in a lower place. A tree that wants to rise toward the sun must first let its roots grip the earth in silence. A dawn that wants to shine brightly must first pass through a stretch of night. One who is entrusted with much must also be trained in faithfulness with small things. Therefore, do not despise the days when you must face matters that seem insignificant, the quiet trials no one knows about, the battles that happen only inside your heart between fear and trust, between giving up and continuing, between bitterness and forgiveness. In the eyes of the world, these things may appear small, but before me, they are the places where you are being prepared for greater things. I do not hastily give you what you are not yet strong enough to keep. I love you enough to train you before I lift you. There is a story you need to remember in this season, the story of Gideon, who once hid because of fear, thinking himself small and unworthy to be called. When I called him, he did not see in himself the shape of a victor. He saw only his family's low position, his own limitations, and the pressure surrounding him. But I did not call him according to what he thought of himself. I called him according to what I knew I would do through him. I did not need a vast army to prove my power. I reduced the number of those who went with him, so that when victory came, no one could boast that human strength had produced glory. Beloved child, you are the same. At times I allow you to enter situations where every outward support becomes smaller, not so that you will fail, but so that you may know that when I am with you, what seems little is still enough to triumph over what is many but lacks my presence. So do not be afraid when you do not have everything you desire in your hands. Do not panic when you do not see enough supporters, enough resources, enough signs, to enough confirmation. I am not limited by numbers, not hindered by circumstances, not weakened by your lack. What I seek in you is not perfection, but a heart willing to listen to my voice. I can use one trembling person who obeys more than a confident crowd that has wandered far from the light. I can use one small step of faith to open a wide road. I can use the very place where you once felt unworthy to reveal my mercy and my power. Do not disqualify yourself from what I have appointed simply because you look more at your shortcomings than at my faithfulness. Listen, my child. I chose you not because you have never been faint-hearted, but because I know there is a seed within you that can grow under my care. I called you not because you have never stumbled, but because I am the one who can lift you up and teach you to walk more steadily. I placed my hand upon your life, not because you can do all things by yourself, but because through your limitations, my light can be seen more clearly. Do not think that being chosen means walking a road without tears. Many times, the chosen are led through deeper paths because they are being prepared to become signs of hope for many others. When you are healed, You will know how to comfort the wounded. When you are lifted, you will know how to reach out your hand to those who are falling. When you are led through the dark night, you will know how to kindle faith for those still struggling in the shadows. I want you to understand that what you go through is not only for you. There are lessons I place in your life that will become encouragement for others. There are tears you thought were only private sorrow. Yet one day they will become evidence that I can still turn wounds into a source of blessing. There were times when you thought you were being delayed, but in truth I was aligning your steps so that at the right time you would be present where you were needed. When your season opens, you will not only rejoice because you have been delivered, you will also become a witness that I do not abandon those who seek me. You will stand among the people I place around you, not to boast of your own strength, but to testify that it was I who preserved, guided, and renewed you day by day. Therefore, lift your head, beloved child, not because you no longer have trials, but because you no longer walk as one defeated by them. Not because you understand everything, but because you know I am leading you with wisdom beyond your sight. The dark night cannot hold you forever, because I have placed within you the invitation to move toward the dawn. What lies behind may once have wounded you, but it is not allowed to rule your future. Do not build a house inside sorrowful memories. Do not bind yourself to the voices that once made you feel small. Do not use old failures as the measure for what I am about to do. You were not created to stand forever on the shore of regret. You were called to keep walking in the light. Look ahead with eyes cleansed of despair. I am opening a way you have not yet fully imagined. There are doors that will open, not because you knock until you are exhausted, but because at the right time I will cause them to turn upon the hinges of grace. There are people who will be brought to support you, not so you become dependent on them, but so you can see that I know how to send help at the right moment. There are opportunities that will appear after a season that seemed silent, so that you may understand that my silence is never forgetfulness. When I prepare something, I do not only prepare the outcome, I also prepare your heart so that when you receive it, you do not lose humility, forget the source of blessing, or depart from your first love. So in this hour, allow me to comfort the weary places within you. Allow me to place within you a gentle courage, not loud, but enduring. Allow me to remind you that you do not need to prove yourself worthy of my love. You were loved before you achieved anything great. You were called even while there were still many things in you to be corrected. You were supported even when your steps were not yet steady. I am your merciful Father, and I do not lead you into the battlefield to abandon you there. When you face trials, I am with you. When you step into a new level, I go before you. When you tremble before what is unknown, I place my peace within your hidden depths like a lamp. My child, walk forward. Do not turn back to search for the old shadow of yourself. Do not sit forever beside the things that have passed. Do not allow fear to clothe you in the garment of defeat. I have called you by a new name in my grace, the one who is preserved, the one who is led, the one who is prepared, the one who is sent to shine. The dawn is coming, and that light is not only meant to illuminate your path, but also so that through you, many others may recognize that I am still at work in this life. Believe that what I am leading you into will surpass the limits you once set in your imagination. And even if the road ahead still holds mountains to climb, remember this: I am not merely standing at the end of the road waiting for you. I am holding your hand in every step today. There are seasons when I do not explain everything to you immediately, not because I am distant, but because I am teaching you to trust through attachment, not merely through understanding. A little child does not need to know the entire route of the Father in order to rest along the way. The child only needs to know that the hand holding them is a loving hand. So it is with you. What you need most is not a perfect map, but the assurance that I have not let you go. I know the times when you felt delayed, the moments when you thought your prayers were being held behind a silent door. But my silence is not forgetfulness. Sometimes I am silent so the roots of your faith can grow deeper. Sometimes I delay so your heart can be purified from haste. Sometimes I hide what lies ahead so you will not live in anxiety over what has not yet come, but learn to receive grace for today. Remember Abraham when he was called to leave the familiar place and go to the land I would show him. He did not hold in his hand a complete map. He did not know every turn, did not see every trial ahead, and could not explain to everyone around him why he had to go. But he heard, he believed, he departed, and on that very journey he was transformed into the bearer of a promise. My child, that story is not only about a distant journey in the past, it shines light upon you today. Many times, I do not give you the entire answer from the beginning, because I want every step you take to become an encounter with me. If you knew everything in advance, you might cling to the plan more than to me. But when you know only the next step, you learn closeness. You learn my voice. You learn the gentleness of my hand upon each part of the road. Therefore, do not blame yourself when you sometimes tremble. I do not demand that you always be firm as stone, never confused, never tired, never asking questions. I know you were formed with limitations, and I do not despise your weakness. What I seek in you is not a flawless appearance, but a heart that knows how to return. When you stumble, return to me. When you fall into doubt, return to me. When your heart feels tangled and troubled, return to me. I do not stand there to condemn you for your unsteady steps. I bend down to lift you, brush the dust from your garment, and teach you to walk on in peace. Walking with me does not mean you will never fall. It means you will never be abandoned in the place where you have fallen. Listen, my child. Stop tormenting yourself for not being good enough, strong enough, or wise enough. My love is not given to you as a reward after you become perfect. That love comes first. It covers you, heals you, shapes you, and calls you to rise each day. I do not distance myself from you on the days when you fall out of rhythm. I draw even closer to remind you that you still belong to me. When you have no words left to pray, I still understand your sighs. When you have no strength left to explain your pain, I still know what is quietly happening in the deep places. When you have only a small bit of faith left, like a weak little flame, I do not extinguish it, I shelter it. Breathe warmth upon it until it shines again as a lamp that guides the way. As you step into tomorrow, do not carry the mindset of someone abandoned to chance. You belong to me, and your life does not drift aimlessly among chaotic waters. Though tomorrow still hides many things, I am not hidden. Though circumstances may change, my love does not change. Though the paths before you may at times be winding, my faithfulness remains straight and steadfast. Be courageous, not because you know you will avoid every trial, but because you know that in every trial I will be with you. Lift your head, not because you are confident in your own strength, but because my hand is lifting your chin from fear. Keep walking, not because the road is fully lit, but because I am enough light for each step you take. There are things today that you see only as scattered pieces. A loss, a delay, a closed door, a prayer not answered in the way you hoped, a period of time that seemed like meaningless waiting. But I see the whole picture. I know why certain things must be kept in quiet shadows. I know why you need to go around by a longer road. I know why some people leave your life, why some opportunities have not yet arrived, why some answers have not yet been opened. One day, when you stand in fuller light, you will understand that I never wasted anything. Even your tears are kept by me as seeds for maturity. Even the nights when you thought you had nothing left were used by me to soften your heart, so you would know how to love others more, become more humble, and lean more deeply on me. Until that day comes, I want you to keep living with a gentle yet steadfast faith. Continue to love, even when the world sometimes makes you weary. Continue to do what is right, even when the results have not appeared. Continue to pray, even when your lips can only whisper. Continue to walk, even when your steps are slower than others. You do not need to run at anyone else's pace, nor do you need to prove the value of your journey before everyone's eyes. I know your name. I know the road you walk, and I know what I am building within you. Some people move quickly but lose their way. I would rather see you walk slowly and stay near me than hurry toward a place where I have not called you to go. Beloved child, the purpose of this journey is not only to bring you to a beautiful destination, but also to transform you along the way. I want my peace to be present in the way you face uncertainty. I want my kindness to be present in the way you respond to hurt. I want pure patience to be present in the way you wait. I want bright humility to be present in the way you receive blessing. Each day you stay near me, you will be refined, renewed, and drawn out of old patterns of thought that made you fearful and caused you to limit yourself. You will not only receive what I give, you will become one who reflects my love to those who need a sign of hope. So lay down the worries you have held for too long. Open your hands before me, not so you will lose what is precious, but so I can arrange all things again according to the order of grace. What belongs to you in my good purpose, I know how to preserve. What no longer nourishes you in the light, I will teach you to release. What needs to come, I will bring at the right time. What needs to wait, I will give you endurance through peace. You are not required to understand everything before you obey. You only need to stay near me. Listen to me, and trust that your Father never leads you onto a road without His care. Listen, my child. When accusation rise, do not argue with it in confusion. Return to what I have spoken over you. When your mind says you are not enough, remember that I am the one who fills what is lacking. When the past says you are only the sum of your mistakes, remember that I am the one who makes new and leads you out of the old shadow. When fear says you will fail, remember that I have not called you to walk alone. Truth does not need noise in order to win. Truth only needs to be received and held tightly by you. One seed of truth, when nourished in your heart, can break through an entire field of thorny doubt. I want you to learn how to discern which voice draws you toward the light and which voice pushes you into shrinking back. My voice may correct you, but it will never destroy you. I may show you what needs to change, but I will always open a path of restoration. I may make you aware of your mistakes, but I will never bury you beneath despair. But the voice that makes you hate yourself, that makes you want to hide from my presence, that makes you think you no longer have another chance, that is not the voice of a merciful Father. Recognize it and do not give it a seat in your heart. You do not need to entertain every thought that passes by. You have the right to close the door to what does not come from the light. Perhaps you have grown used to living under the weight of comparison. You look at others and think they have gone farther, shine brighter, stand steadier, and are loved more deeply. But my child, I did not create you to become a copy of anyone else. I do not measure you by another person's journey. I know the pace that is right for you, the season appointed for you, and the preparation necessary for you. A flower does not condemn itself for not blooming at the same time as another plant. It only needs to remain in good soil. Receive the light, Drink the water and bloom at the appointed time. So it is with you. Remain under my care. Do not let comparison steal your peace. Do not let applause given to someone else make you doubt the value I placed in you. I have enough love for each person, and what I have prepared for you is not reduced by the blessing of another. When you know who you are in me, invisible chains begin to fall away. You will no longer be easily controlled by criticism. You will no longer have to live begging for everyone's approval. You will no longer shrink back just because someone does not understand your journey. True freedom is not when everyone agrees with you, but when you stand firm in the affirmation that comes from me. You do not need to strain yourself to prove your worth. You only need to walk faithfully in what I have placed before you. Your value does not increase when you succeed, nor does it decrease when you stumble. It is anchored in my unchanging love. Therefore, today rise in your heart before you rise with your feet. Let me remove from you the false labels you have carried for too long. You are not a failure. You are not forgotten. You are not an unfinished thing without meaning. You are the child I have called by name, the lamp I am lighting, the ground I am watering with grace, the one being led through each season to become steadier. The things that come against you may try to make you doubt, but they do not have the authority to cancel what I have appointed. No darkness can rewrite my word. No lie can erase the mark of love I have placed upon you. Beloved child, walk with new peace, not peace, because every negative voice has disappeared immediately, but peace, because you no longer have to believe them. When they return, bring your heart back to me. When doubt knocks, let my truth answer. When fear tries to make you bow your head, remember that my hand is lifting you up. I will teach you day by day how to think according to the light, how to speak to yourself with mercy, how to look at the future with faith instead of anxiety. You will learn that freedom is not only leaving what binds you on the outside, but also being released from the lies that once lived in your thoughts. And then you will see yourself walking differently than before. Not because you have never trembled, but because you know you are not alone. Not because you are no longer weak, but because you know my strength is revealed in dependence. Not because you are no longer tested, but because you have learned not to bow before false voices. I am with you. I call you. I uphold you. And I will complete what I have begun. Hold fast to this truth like a lamp in the night, like an anchor amid the waves, like warmth in a cold day. You belong to me, and because you belong to me, you can stand firm. You can keep walking, and you can live freely in the light I have prepared for you.